Do you have a rental property and you're considering selling it? Well, today we're talking about 5 reasons that you should consider selling your rental property right after this. I know that you know that if you have a rental, it can sometimes be difficult. It's not always easy. And I know for ourselves, we've had rental properties. And one of the things that we did last year, we actually sold one of our rental properties. And by doing that, am I kicking myself because of extra cash that could have happened because the market's going up? For sure. But what it did do is it cleared up headspace. And so by clearing up that headspace, that emotional space of the product and managing these 4 units in this 4-plex, all that kind of stuff, it was just good. It was a good thing to do. And you might be in that same place where, one of the 5 reasons that we're going to get into, it just might create some headspace for you. And that might be what you're after. And now might be the time. It's early 2022. The market is hot. And so it might be the time to consider selling that rental. So what are we going to do? Well, first off, let's talk about the 5 reasons why you should consider selling your property in 2022 and 2023 as our market is going crazy. And the first one that we have is it is a seller's market. And gosh dang it, it is a seller's market in Calgary. And Airdrie and all the surrounding areas. So if you have a rental property and maybe you were an accidental landlord because you couldn't sell your property before and you kept it, bought something else. That's what I call an accidental landlord. This might be one of those reasons. A seller's market is a fantastic time to sell your property because there are basically no homes for sale right now in the city of Calgary and Airdrie and Cochrane and Chestermere and Okotoks and everything in between. And so it could be a great time for that. All right, second reason is you're in cash flow negative. Now this might be happening or it has been cash flow negative for a while. So back in 2006, 7, and 8, 2014, and now 2021, 22, the market has seen highs in terms of values. And a lot of people buy during these peaks, right? And what's happened in the past is a couple years after it kind of settles, and then people want to move 4 or 5 years later. But the problem is the equity isn't there. And so you may have turned it into a rental and the market hasn't been as hot, it's been softer. And so you might have been in a cash flow negative situation or a break-even situation where it's just barely covering your costs. It's kind of stressful, and if it's causing that anxiety, this could be the time. Actually, it is the time. It is the time to sell that rental. As long as obviously you're not in a lease agreement and that kind of stuff. But again, you could even sell the property with the tenant in it and the lease stays with the property and they assume the tenant. That can happen. There's a lot of people moving here from out of city who don't necessarily want to be here right now, but they just want to secure a property. They would be open to having a good tenant in that home if it's the right home for them for 6 months, 8 months, and then they move here when the tenant's up and then it's their property. Just saying, right? All right, number 3, you actually might want to level up or consolidate rentals. So what I mean by that, there is a great strategy in investing in property where you leverage yourself and you probably get 4, 5, 6, 10, some people are 20, 30 properties. And at some point you kind of consolidate them. So what I mean is you get a whole bunch of these and you're paying them down and you're paying off mortgage. The tenant's paying off mortgage and you're managing them and whatever. And what you do is you sell 5 of the 10, let's say, and then you take that equity, put it onto these other 5, and now you have potentially 5 that are with no mortgage or a very, very small mortgage. That could be one of the reasons that you want to do that. And leveling up might be you take 2 or 3 rentals and they might have been all condos, but you really want to have a detached house as a rental. Well, you sell all 3 of these, take all that equity, put it into a bigger investment, or even a small commercial space, something like that. You could do things like that too. So that's another reason why you may want to sell your rental property this year or next year. The fourth one, sorry, is you're living out of town. You moved away from Calgary, and now this property is just here and it's too much work. So let me go back to number one, strong seller's market. It is a good time to consider making this change. I know that we have had clients who couldn't afford to sell their property. They rented it, left, went down to the US or wherever it was, and now it's still a rental. This is a fantastic time to move that property because you've made money on it, and there's more equity there for you to make that change. All right. And the fifth one, again, if you are an accidental landlord and you still have that other property, or you intentionally bought a rental, but the fifth one is you just don't want to be a landlord anymore. So that is number 5. You just don't want to be a landlord anymore. And that is kind of where we were with this one property that we sold last year. And so because we sold that property, we were done with it. We have so many other things going on with our real estate brokerage, with our family, our girls growing up. Man, they're a dance. There's a lot of dance. I'm a dance dad. I'm not wearing a hat or a shirt. I just will drive. That's all I do. But yeah, there's a lot of life that's happening, and managing a rental just wasn't something we wanted to keep doing with this one property for the foreseeable future. So we sold it last year. And all I can say is I'm glad that we did. It gave a lot of headspace, and you might be in that same position too, where you just want to move on. You're tired of being a landlord. It is a seller's market. It's too much work, all of those things, and it's just the right time. So if that is you, reach out. info@chamberlaingroup.ca is our email address, or you can put a comment in below and we'll have a conversation there. But again, remember, we are on that race to 12,000 subscribers. So subscribe to this channel if you found this video helpful, and email us info@chamberlaingroup.ca if you have any further questions about this, or you're considering selling your rental. And let me say, just because the market is hot doesn't mean every property sells, and there is a lot of money left on the table for those who aren't positioning your home properly. So give us a call, 587-316-5400, or email us at info@chamberlaingroup.ca, and we would be glad to put a strategy together for you where you can maximize, get the most that you can out of the property in this hot market. But on that note, we'll see you guys in the next video.